Hello guys, this is Nick from forexfornoobs.com with my midday analysis. If you enjoy this analysis, please hit the like button below and hit the subscribe button below to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more analysis, webinars, and awesome Forex education videos. Before I start, I want to tell you how my analysis works. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I hold a live analysis session. In the analysis, I cover all the pairs I'm currently trading. This is usually 10 to 20 pairs, and I do multi-timeframe analysis on those pairs. Multi-timeframe analysis means that I look at every timeframe I have for each pair. I do not trade all of those timeframes though. I use them for analysis. The only timeframes I actually trade are the 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and daily. The reason I do this is because price action is fluid. Price is always moving. If you look at a single time frame, you are seeing a single snapshot of price, and that can be misleading. By looking at a lot of different time frames, you get more snapshots, which gives you a much clearer idea of what price is doing right now. This also ensures that I rarely miss a trade setup. I do my multi-time frame analysis 2 to 4 times per day, so every 4 to 8 hours. This ensures that I see almost every candle forming, which makes it hard to miss a setup. I only post my analysis to YouTube once per day though, as I cannot record every time I do my analysis. You should remember, I do not find trade setups every time I do analysis. Trade setups are not always there when you want them to be. If I do not find a trade setup in the midday analysis, I might find one in the next analysis I do later in the afternoon or the evening. Trade setups aren't always there when you want them, and just because I'm doing analysis, it doesn't mean I'm going to find a setup. Also, if I do find a setup, remember that these are just potential setups. Not every setup I find is actually going to turn into a trade. Many of these setups will never trigger, or they'll just be cancelled. Just because I say that I'm considering entering a setup, it doesn't mean that the setup will actually trigger. But when they do trigger, I enter them, and I post the updates to my blog, which is linked to below. Finally, you may notice that I sometimes fast forward through parts of this analysis. I do this when I cannot find any setups on the pairs that I'm looking at. It saves you watching 5 minutes of me running through charts and saying there's no setup here. So I'll just fast forward through those boring parts. Anyway, enjoy the analysis. Today is Wednesday the 26th of October 2016, and the time is 12:08 here in the UK. You're looking at a EURUSD daily chart. Let's get started with the analysis. Okay, so what's going on with EURUSD right now? Let's go down to the 12-hour. We looked at EURUSD yesterday, and I was looking at a potential long trade here. Now, a few people have entered this, am I right? I saw Catherine on the forum had entered it, and a few people joined her. Oh, Catherine, you're here. Cool. Adrian, you entered too? I'm going to take the Y as a yes and assume you've entered. Maria, you didn't. That's fine. You guys don't have to say no. I was just... Now, I didn't enter this trade. The reason I didn't enter was because this new candle here, it pushed too far below the previous candle. So it pushed down to here, and that pulled my stop loss a bit too far down, which made this trade a bit too risky. So let's say the trade ended up something like that. The risk to reward ratio became around about 1.3 at this point. Why is this? Sorry, it should be a bit lower. The risk to reward ratio became 1.3. So originally when I wanted to enter it, the risk reward ratio was a little bit better. So this one just kind of like that break lower just kind of pulled it towards the too risky side for my personal risk analysis. But that's just my personal risk analysis. That's how I do things, because like I've said for years now, I don't take very many risks. I'm risk averse. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you should be. If you're trading my strategy, you don't have to implement it in the exact same way as I implement it. I implement it in a way that is kind of in a very safe way, let's say. But you can implement it in a less safe way if you want. And in the end, you might end up making more profit because you're taking a lot more trades. If I'm skipping, 50% of trades because they become slightly too risky for me, and you take you take those 50% of trades, you might end up making more profit than me. Who knows? I just don't take very many risks in my trading, which is why I stayed out of this one. I didn't enter it. It just popped down a little bit too low for me, and it just made that risk to reward ratio not very favorable. To get 1.5, I had to go up too high into this area, and I didn't really want that because of these previous bounces. Those previous bounces there, that minor support resistance there, it's very possible that when price gets up to there, it's going to pull back, maybe even completely reverse. And if I haven't hit my 1.5 target by the time it reaches around about there, I would not be happy with the trade. So that's the reason I didn't enter. But to do a breakdown of your trade and how you guys have entered it, those of you who did enter, it's going pretty well. Hold on to it. Yeah, even on the lower time frames, it's looking good. I don't really look at lower time frames while I'm in a trade, but it's looking pretty decent. I would just say hold on to it. Still early days, but what's your overall target, Catherine and Adrian? Did anyone else who's here enter it? Because there were quite a few people in the forum who seem to have entered. Yeah, it really depends on how much risk you're willing to take. What am I doing? All right. So Adrian, your target is a tad high in my opinion, because it's towards the high side of this resistance area. Yeah, I would say Catherine's target's much safer, but don't change your trade because of that. That's just my assessment. This is one of the hardest things in trading for me, right? Because when I look at this, right, I look at this and I know what is likely to happen because I'm reading the price action. I've been reading price action for 15, wait, is it 15 years? Who knows? 18, no, okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration. I've been reading price action for 12 years. And when I look at a chart, I know, I get a pretty good feeling of what's going to happen. It's never 100%, but I knew that price was likely going to reverse it, which is what we talked about yesterday. We spotted this yesterday, and I said, we've got support, we got indecision on support, and I knew that price was probably going to do what it's doing right now. This isn't me bragging. I have a point here, so stick with me. So the hardest thing for me in trading is knowing that, but making the decision not to enter the trade. So I know that this is likely to happen, but because the trade doesn't meet my specific requirements that I've laid out in my trading plan, then I don't enter the trade. Well, this is more risk management plan, but my risk management trading plan are grouped together. So this trade didn't meet my risk management requirements. It was just a little bit too risky, and I made the decision not to enter because of that. You know, I find that that's one of the hardest things in trading for me. You know that price is about to reverse, but you just can't enter because sellers just pushed a little bit too low or a little bit too high, and they just made your risk to reward ratio a little bit too small. But anyway, I'm not complaining. For those of you who entered, for those of you who felt, I guess, for those of you whose trading plan allowed you to enter this trade, good job. I would, like I said, hold it. But for those of you who didn't enter, I guess good job too. As long as you follow your plan, you're doing a good job. USDCHF, similar situation. I was planning on entering this one, but it pushed up before starting to move down. Did anyone enter this? I didn't see this one on the forum, so I'm assuming no one did. This one pushed up quite a lot, so the risk to reward ratio changed a bit too much on this one. Because see, I was worried about that area there. See that minor support resistance through here? That messy stuff there. I was worried about that. So that big spike up made it so that kind of worry area was only 0.5 risk reward ratio away, as opposed to what I was originally thinking at about 1. So this trade became a bit too risky for me too. Maria, I change my R depending on the trade. If I look at the setup and it has a lot of room to move and it's a strong setup, I'll go for 2 RR, but depending on the setup, it depends. It's going to be part of one of the new advanced, the new Forex Mastermind videos. It's going to be part of the course overhaul. I'm going to be discussing dynamic risk to reward ratios. Anyway, we haven't actually done any analysis yet, and we're 10 minutes in. So let's quickly get into the analysis, guys. Okay, so what's going on with you? I already know there's not going to be much because I've already flicked through my charts this morning. So there's not really going to be much happening today. Not at this time anyway, because I do this analysis for myself several times per day. So just because nothing is forming right now at midday on Wednesday, it doesn't mean that at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, there's not going to be something forming. At 8 p.m. there might be something. But right now, based on when I flicked through my charts earlier today, well, 30 minutes before I started this, there was nothing really forming, so it's unlikely that we have anything now. Anyone still long on New Zealand USD, by the way? Yeah, nothing hammering on New Zealand CAD either. It's in between 2 support resistance areas, so. Euro JPY. Euro JPY is doing that thing. We'll talk about that on the forum, never mind. AUD/USD, I was looking at this just before the webinar and it looked somewhat interesting, and it seems to be pushing down now, but I just couldn't find a good risk to reward ratio. So that where the preceding trend started was a bit too high up. Yeah, nothing much happening on AUD/JPY either. Nothing much happening on CAD/JPY. Yeah, nothing much happening here either. I don't even know why I'm looking at the GBP pairs. I'm not really trading GBP right now, so let's just skip the GBP ones. Because because of Brexit, like we were discussing in yesterday's video, I'm not really trading GBP. So yeah, let's just skip those ones. I'm going to keep them on my watch list, but I'm not going to actually be trading them. So yeah, there's not much happening today, guys. Right now, at this moment, there's not much happening. But like I said, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be much happening in 4 hours or in 8 hours. That's why I do this analysis multiple times per day. I don't post it to YouTube multiple times per day, but personally, I look at my charts, you know, anywhere between 2 to 6 times a day, just depending on how busy I am. But I like to look in, I try to look in every 4 hours, roughly. At the moment anyway, I'm trying to look in every 4 hours, but during summer, to be honest, it's usually every 6 to 8 hours because it's warm outside, so I'm not sitting at my computer as often. But yeah, I'm looking in every 4 hours, so maybe in 4 hours we'll find something good, or maybe in 8 hours we'll find something good, but right now, yeah, there's not much happening. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up below. If you have any questions regarding this video, then leave a comment below and I'll respond to it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get notified as soon as I upload my videos. My Facebook and Twitter are in the description below. Thanks again for watching and happy trading.